Peace.
Yeah, yeah.
Peace.
Because remember, if you
Good.
recall, Terry was had invested in a company where it started at 42 cents, and I looked at it today. I was just curious, and it's up to $1.20 per share. So.
Okay. Well, we had somebody who just tapped in. Who just tapped in the call?
Peace, brother Red Pill. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Whoa.
All right.
Hey, man, we have royalty on the line with us now, Bert.
Nah, don't do that.
That's
Do
what's up.
not do that. One of the brothers, man. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing good, man. I'm DJ Seiko Varner. Introduce yourself, brother.
Peace.
All right, Bert Bergen here, one of the co-founders of Wear Black Biz. Pleasure to have you on the call, my brother.
Oh, greetings, brother. How's everything? I heard of your brand before too. So
Get out of here, man.
Yeah, I'm in business.
Man. I'm humble.
So I do a lot of research on all of the people who are out there doing their thing.
That's what's up.
Thank you.
That's what's up. But look, I understand that you and your brother are coming to the area, the 757, to do a presentation entitled "The Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah." And I think it's
part 3. 7th is this way. Yeah, we're going on part 3, fam. It's an ongoing series that I started on October the 10th, which was Columbus Day this year that just passed. And I started the series out because the series is speaking to a narrative. And if based on research that I've been doing lately and talking to some people who are smarter than me, they explained to me that narratives are the operative force in reality. You understand? We live in a quote-unquote post-truth or post-fact Trump era. And what they mean by that is they're utilizing formulas and they're saying fuck facts. People are like, oh my goodness, I don't believe that they said that. The audacity of the Trump people to say the facts don't exist. And they're saying it doesn't exist anymore. Fuck the facts and fuck the truth, because what exists is the narrative. Because if we can program if we can program the people, the society to follow a narrative, it doesn't matter if you have the truth. Henceforth, what took place in 9/11 with the Iraq War, they did not have the facts and they did not have the truth. What did they have? They had a narrative. What is the narrative? The narrative is what Donald Trump did when he came forth and said, "Make America great again." Not only did he say that, but he put emotionalism behind it. He put emotions behind it. And he tapped into the raw emotions of a large demographic of Americans who were afraid to speak about the narrative that they've all been following in private. They were scared to speak about it in public. Because one thing about Donald Trump and his team, we're going to show this in the lecture. We're going to bring out information that none of our illustrious teachers, shout out to all of them, but a lot of people ignored what was going on. They ignored the narrative. What were they talking about? Nothing. Nothing that pertains to the narrative and both identifying it or being able to steer your narrative, which is an opposing narrative, and being able to trump the dominant narrative. They did not do that. They didn't do that. And where we find ourselves right now is we find ourselves caught up inside of a narrative that was created by not just Trump. He's a lackey, family. He is the figurehead. He is the mouthpiece that they found, who is one of the most smartest businessmen on the planet. I know people are like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? This is the guy from Apprentice. No, he has a special skill set. We're not looking at his book, because if we understand anything about entrepreneurs and this era that we live in of personalities and brands and things of that nature, it's not about the how many stocks he has. And no, that motherfucker could deliver. He knew how to play the part. He attached himself to a narrative, and he was able to carry that out because with all of his psychopathic behaviors, he fits the mold of what it takes to make it in America in this sick, insane sociopathic society. Remember, American Psycho. So the people who are behind him are billionaires. I believe his name is Mercer. Okay, Mercer has a company called SCL. SCL specializes in psyops. SCL specializes with one of the, you know, how the billionaires or these people, they create multiple companies. So one company or one LLC serves the purpose, and then they have all of these other companies. But one of the companies that the billionaire, his biggest backer, not one of the many, no, his top guy, like the motherfucker who is the string puller. You know, everybody talks the Illuminati talk. Well, right. I would say his Illuminati. You know what I mean? His big Illuminati guy. He is the company that he owns is responsible for what we know today as Brexit. Remember when Brexit passed in London, which was the exit of London and whatnot out of the EU? Right. They didn't see it coming. They had no idea. They slept on it because they was like, nobody's going to vote for that shit. That's a referendum that's not going to pass. Right. Well, the company, the analytic company who got behind the people, who got behind the brainchild was a multi-billion-dollar company who they have mastered metadata, data mining, and all kind of other things dealing with behavioral patterns on people's online activity. The majority of the people who are the Trumpers who brought Trump in, they have them psychologically fitted, like they know who they are, and they pinpointed those people specifically because we live in an era now where you could pinpoint a motherfucking article on Facebook so that shit could go right to your motherfucking your feed. I'm on Facebook these days. I don't even see nobody's fucking feed. I only see 100 people out of my 5,000 friends and 6,000 followers. I don't see a lot of people's fucking information anymore. That's because Facebook has fixed the algorithm to say all of the niggas talking nationalism that's on the terror list, we're going to let you see their feeds, Mr. Red Pill. Nobody else. You're not going to see people talking about the good things going on in life. You're just going to be bombarded with all of this information. That's why everybody was being bombarded with fake news. But the fake news was speaking to your conspiracy theories. You was like, damn, how did they know? Because this is we live in a technological era, and data mining and data analytics, big data, that's a multi-billion-dollar business. It's real. So this company, this shit sounds like an episode of G.I. Joe. But this entity, this multi-billion-dollar entity got behind him, and they were able to put him in what is called a November surprise. You understand?
Incredible.
And
it's a picture of this work. For those that may not know, what is PSYOPs?
Psychological operations, dealing with propaganda, fake news, controlling the hearts and minds of the people through media, like all of the quote-unquote fear. And the reason why we're talking about fear, and when we brought it out in October, it was like, what is he talking about? Like, fear what? I'm a black man. I don't fear nothing. Well, fast forward to today, the whole atmosphere has been terraformed around fear. And what does fear bring about? Fear brings about uncertainty, and it makes people it takes away your privilege of thinking, fight or flight. You know, motherfucker pop out of the closet with the chopper, you were stagnated because you have to deal with fight or flight. Do I fight him with the chopper, or do I run like Soldier Boy and hope that, you know, he doesn't turn me into Swiss cheese? So the black people who weren't prepared for what is coming about because remember, the whole thing is a psyop. It's a psyop on top of a psyop. It's on top of another one. So,
all right,
what you see now.
Wow. Yeah, you're dropping it, man. And you're gonna be in the 757 area soon, right?
Yes, sir. I was here. I was in the 757 exactly a year ago to around this time, and we came to the, I believe it was the House of Culture.
Oh, House of Consciousness. Right, right,
House
right.
of Consciousness. Yeah, we came through, me and Blue Pill, and we did the Facts Initiative presentation. Facts is the acronym for Food, Art, Golden Technology, Shelter. And that was received beautifully by the audience. And we're coming back this time with an update on the initiatives, because we have a membership site that we have put together to deal with the membership. It's a solution-based initiative. But before we even get to that, we need to get to the business that's at hand. And that business is at hand is everything. It's a lot of the stuff is going to be affecting us for these 4 years. Because you could become part of the initiative, but your ass is you stuck in fear. You might not want to really progress because the psyops is telling you that you're black, and that means that you don't contribute anything to society. So that means that you should just wait to die. Like, stupid shit like that. The people is running around echoing. There's a video on YouTube where it's like, how they got the mannequin challenge?
Right.
Well, it's coincidental that the mannequin challenge will come around this time when we dealing with fight or flight, and these niggas are stuck in the mannequin mode. They don't want to fight.
Whoa.
So they just want to be mannequins. They just want to be stiff. They want to be still. They want to, how black people are when they get scared and shit. They be they'll stand still and don't blink and hope the motherfuckers walk by them.
Whoa. Whoa. So I know that the name of your lecture is Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. Tell me a little bit about that and how that came about. And this is the third part of the series, so discuss that very quickly.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, when we were doing the research, it just made me tap into the narrative of this crusade. I call it a crusade that echoes the crusade that we are all been taught about in school, but we wasn't taught about the crusades in a proper sense. What the crusades was religious war, or it was a conflict between the powers of Christendom. Powers of Christendom were the Franks, the Goths, the Austrians, the Germanic tribes, the Castilian tribes. All of these formed nation states that we know now currently as Germany, France, Britain, London, Spain, Portugal, some of the main players in this whole thing. Spain, Rome, Roman Catholicism, the motherfucking crown, and the church. The ones who went forward after they defeated the Moors in 1491 and formed what is known as the New World. They took they destroyed the old world and they formed what is known as the New World under the umbrella of Christendom. Now, later on in times, we see Christendom falling apart because we see these same tribes going to war in the wars affectionately known as World War I and World War II. Okay? Then they ramped up their campaign, or they resuscitated their crusades, or they reinstalled, right? They reinstalled their inquisition against the Muslim states. So they brought the crusades back. George Bush, in that post-September 9/11 campaign, he said explicitly, this is the crusade coming back. We are here to motherfucking wreak havoc in the name of these Christian nations. Henceforth, you got NATO and other people. When you look at NATO and you look at the membership, and when you study the Reconquista, the Inquisition, and the Crusades, it's the same fucking players. Okay? They all work for the church and they work for the crown. And the Blackamoor was the black Arab, or the black African, or the black North African, or the black West African, who was affectionately known as a Moor. When he was conquered the title or the brand that they gave him was a Blackamoor. Then when he got conquered more, they called him a Morisco, which was a little more. Then when he got conquered more, he turned into a Necro or a Negro, which meant Black Death. Then when they suppressed him even more, that nigga became colored, and then he became a Negro. Then when they suppressed him more, and then they faked him and acted like he got emancipated, they was like, okay, nigga, you're black. Then they said he's an African American. Then they said he's an Afro-American. Then they just say he's a nigga. That's how they got us in Brandon right now. And if you pay attention to the onslaught, or if you pay attention to the campaign that these Christians in America and other places, what they call as the far right, then you have a segment of the far right that they now call the alt-right. All of these people are heavily steeped in medieval lore, meaning that these motherfuckers is on 4chan, they're on Storm, whatever the fuck these white supremacy sites, go and read the literature. All they're talking about is the medieval times. All they're talking about is exactly what I talked about on Columbus Day, the Blackamoor Messiah. They're not identifying, they're not even worried about, they're not talking about the Arab anymore. You know how many Arabs they killed since the campaign started across the fucking Levant and the goddamn, they're not, that's the Ottoman Turk. He's nothing to them. He's a pale Arab. He's he's like a cousin, real talk. He's more closer to them. He's a Turk. The ones that you see, the people coming out of the Saudi Arabia, the Iran, and all of it, these are not, when you dig deeper, there's melanated people that's getting drone attacked. When you dig deeper, there's melanated people getting killed in Afghanistan and Iraq and things like that. That's not the niggas that they show on the motherfucking news. Okay? Like in Libya, when they destroyed a whole African settlement and massacred all of them. So there's a genocide that is taking place right now, not overseas, not in the fucking Arab Emirates. No, the Blackamoor Messiah is the messianic force that you saw when you saw Malcolm X. The Blackamoor Messiah messianic force is the force that you saw in Khalid Muhammad. They were dealing with Islam, black Islam, reinterpreted from a black standpoint. When we were doing Islam in Spain, we wasn't doing no fucking Islam that the Arabs did. We was interpreting the Islam and doing it our way. That's why we fell out with the quote-unquote Orthodox Islam over in Cairo, and we created a caliphate over in Spain, in the Iberian Peninsula. And then you have multiple dynasties. So there's a North African dynasty that has Berbers, Arabs. They did more race mixing than the West African dynasty, who came and disposed of the North African dynasty because they was like, them niggas is too soft. And they like, white women, fuck that. We're going to cut them niggas' heads off. We're taking over, and we're going to expose this super black shit on the motherfucking cracker. You know what I mean? That was in the 1200s. That's the Almoravid dynasty. And if you go into Senegal right now amongst the Sufis, the Almoravids are still honored, revered, and they ain't going nowhere. The Tuaregs are still there. They're in the motherfucking Sahara Desert. They didn't go anywhere. The Berbers are still there. They didn't go anywhere. So you have a campaign that took place where the European went to war against the West African. He later on enslaved the same tribes. And you call it slavery today. But he has not stopped killing those people in the name of the crown in the church. So whenever the Messiah is not one person, the Messiah or the Messianic force, you see it in hip-hop right now, family. You see it in fucking NBA. You see it. You saw it at the Olympics. You see the shit in the conscious community. You see it in your neighborhood. Some of them niggas is dope boys, got messianic forces in them. If they were fighting for something, if they stood for something, if they were willing to live for something, if the motherfuckers know thyself, if they knew who they were, they would be a fucking problem. But who are they a problem to? They're a problem to us right now because these motherfuckers is all around us. These are enemies to our progression. They are enemies of the state. They work vicariously for the church and the motherfucking crown. That's why these niggas are proud car-carrying Christians. And if I offended any Christians on the line, what I would say is You need to study the history about how we were utilized against each other by using this motherfucking religion to weaken us. And these niggas run around with Jesus pieces and crosses and be selling crack to their mamas and your mother and my mother and other people's mamas and other things, because that represents our oppression. That represents, and when they deputize a nigga, that's a house nigga fucking emblem. When they deputize you and they have you kill in the name of them, of course you're going to wear their cross. Woo. It's Roman. It's like a Roman soldier. Do you know that they had blackberry colored Roman soldiers? The niggas was Carthaginians who turned on Hannibal. They had Roman soldiers from Kemet. They had Roman soldiers from fucking every corner of Africa, the Congo and everything. What's this nigga's name? Saint Maurice, another black Roman soldiers. The only thing they wanted was the bag. They didn't give a fuck about, like, there's niggas in the army right now and in the motherfucking law enforcement. It's the same. Ain't nothing changed. Nothing changed. Them niggas won't kill. They're mercenaries.
Hey, Seiko, I think we're gonna call Michael and tell him he got to raise the prices on the tickets because half the road is getting ready to get lit. And they're getting ready to get set on fire with no water for 100 miles, man.
Yeah, you got, we're gonna talk about a lot of things. I got 4 hours. My brother Blue Pill will be opening up with the Law 44. What he does is he utilizes the power that numbers have, the fact that numbers are speaking a language to us, and the fact that the Great Divine speaks through signs. If you can identify numbers as a language, you could be shown patterns that fit the narrative, going back to the narrative. So I call it Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, because that is the motherfucking narrative, family. They want to genocide our people. What is taking place right now? If you see a group of black men walking through with some fucking makeup on in some heels, them niggas are part of an experiment where it is a part of genocide that you're seeing. It's not that shit that they're trying to sell us like it's some cute shit that we supposed to accept. We was born this way. You were manipulated and then you were born that way, family. You're not a fucking scientist. You need to hit the books and figure out some of the shit that was done where they manipulated either your mother's chromosomes or your chromosomes through genetic warfare, chemical warfare, genetic warfare, meaning that they can motherfucking cater some shit to fuck with your DNA and not other people's DNA. That's how they doing it right now. All of the motherfucking baby bottles, the soy that was in the baby food, the crack cocaine, which alters the chromosomes, it will turn off certain kind of inhibitors or enzymes that would allow a motherfucking flower to blossom. What do I mean by that? I mean that when children are born, they go through a flowering phase, both in female and in male. So some women are tomboys. Some young girls are like tomboys. Then the motherfucking hormone kicks in. Then the breasts grow and the body begins to develop and the menstrual comes and things begin to flower. That's why when they say that you take a virgin for a wife, you deflower her. These gender bender chemicals are prohibiting certain things from happening. And I'm not taking no shots at the LBGTs that are out there. I don't do hate. I'm not here to burn my people down. I give them the truth. And if the truth is kind of hot, well, goddamn it, you should go to Chicago where it's winter all year around and some shit. Cool off. But it will prohibit certain kind of enzymes, chromosomes, DNA, all of the things that it takes for these young women to develop in fully functional women. The shit stops. That's why you can look at them and be like, yo, your chromosome, your testosterone, I could tell that your testosterone has overpowered your estrogen, because I could look at your phenotype and I could look at the way that you're born. I can see how you're developing. You're not developing in the sense of how a woman develops. That's just observation. I don't have to be a fucking scientist for that one. And then you look at these young boys who have more estrogen than testosterone, and they're developing backwards as well. So what do we do with situations like that? We got to get into eating right. We got to get into herbs. We got to get into things that will help these chromosomes and We got to balance our people out. You feel me? They don't understand, especially black women running around acting. Some of them be laughing and shit. Some of them feel safe. Some of them act as if this assault on the Blackamoor Messiah or the black men has nothing to do with them. When you look at the motherfucking numbers, they're killing them in other ways. They are products or they are victims of the quiet war with the silent weapons. Go and look at the numbers about how many black women is getting washed the fuck up in the hospital. Why does everybody have cancer all of a sudden? Huh? Do they realize that shit is a fucking op? Do they realize they go to the hospital to get their fucking teeth checked and they walk out of there with a diagnosis of cancer to come back in a few days to get nuked or microwaved to death with the fucking chemotherapy? That's not murder. Do you know how many deaths of malpractice? Because they listen to the white man with the white fucking robe on. They trust him because the majority of them are indoctrinated into what is known as Western society. Western society is a Judeo-Christian society, which is a Christian society. So by proxy, it's white men in black robes, it's white men in white coats, okay? It's white women as their teachers, it's white men in the motherfucking corporate ballroom, and all of them is killing you. They're killing your son blatantly, and they're killing you in private. Look at the number of abortions. There's more fucking abortions than collectively bodies of most of these wars that are taking place. That's not murder. You're stopping them fucking messiahs from coming in. That's not murder. That's not murder. You're depleting the motherfucking birth rate. You got black people running around like, yeah, Europeans are at a negative birth rate. Well, goddamn it, what about your black woman? You mean to fucking tell me they're not at a negative birth rate? They're killing the babies. So they got our women with cancer. They got them. They're cutting their wombs out. They got them with the perms are toxic. The food is toxic. The baby food is toxic. The motherfucking vaccinations is toxic. All of that, the Hep B and all of that. They're getting them in a place where they don't even realize that they're getting them. And then they got them as the life force or the motherfucking the battery that powers this motherfucking system. It was all by design. So
wow.
what is the prize of all war? It's the woman. It's always been the woman. You motherfuckers can't come and change the rules because we live in a new, because niggas are millennials or whatnot. No, the prize of war has always been a woman. So the woman has always had an option. Always had an option. Look how they're coming after our women. Look how they're scooping our women up. The prize in war is always the booty. It's the woman. So they're like, yo, these are the options. You either get down with the white boy, Serena, okay, who got engaged to a motherfucker who runs a website where they call her a monkey. And that's a white supremacist website, Reddit. Okay? She got engaged to a motherfucker whose website calls her a monkey every day. They're not going to stop calling her a monkey on the website. So you're marrying, when you marry into I'm not married, but if I was to marry a sister right now, I'm marrying into her family. And by marrying into her family, I'm marrying into her race. Okay? Now, if I marry a fucking hook-nosed Jewish chick, then I gotta marry into the hook-nosed Jewish culture.
757, get ready.
So, this is not about, it's about love. Fuck love. Love don't have nothing to do with it. This is about loving yourself. Obviously, she didn't love herself. That's what the niggas who was running through her said. They was passing her around, and that don't got nothing to do with, it is what it is. Some people are promiscuous, and some are not. But I know that she disrespected her father, who told her, if that motherfucking comb can't go through his hair, don't bring him home. And what the fuck do she do? Bring his ass home. She should have, because people is like, the brother should have put a ring on her finger. Look, it's not that easy, okay? Get out of your fucking reality show mentality. If the relationship don't work, it just don't work. We live in a fucking world where black women and black men, they try about 80 times before they find the one. That's like the average and shit. So I don't want to hear that. The shit don't even, I'm not going for the bullshit. Black women are fucking white men to get back at black men. Black women are soft prostituting themselves so they could get a fucking trip to the Bahamas from these white men to be taking their little selfies, but you never see the old white man. But he's there. He's buying the pussy, okay? Because this era and this age that we live in, prostitution is a fucking career. I call it the New York lottery. All you need is $1 and a dream. It's just like the lottery. So the strip club culture has reduced the value of our women. And I blame it on these niggas. Okay, I'm not pointing a finger. By proxy, they work with the Jew. They work with the white man who was the ones who financed and funded the record labels, funded all of the entertainment industry, funded the pornography, San Fernando Valley, and they use these fucking bucks. They use these broke-ass niggas who will do anything for $1. Come to find out, the majority of them niggas be grabbing their ankles. They're not even real men. So they're using field niggas. They're using field niggas to do their dirty work. And these field niggas have depreciated the value of something that is priceless, and that is the black woman in her womb. So now the New York lottery is all you need. Once you've depreciated the value of sex to $1, family, why do I say that? Because it depends. It depends on what strip club you go to. It depends on the time of the fucking night. It depends if it's a full moon that night, because you could give $1 to a shorty who may look like a goddess and say some slick shit to her. Next thing you know, you could be in the bathroom getting some, you could be getting some neck for $10. Some guys have to spend 100 singles. Some niggas got to spend 1,000 singles. But what I do know, okay, from observation, is that our women who we look at, some of them are beautiful beyond belief in their physical, in their physical, the way that they look, their bodies, the beauty that they have, the way that they talk. Like, yeah, have you ever fucking talked to a stripper before? They put on the subtle voice and shit. They're seduction. They could seduce you. But it's only $1, man. It's $1. And these white boys know this. So what do you think the skeeter is? Yo, they're in the club with our sisters, dancing to the ratchet music about black women ain't shit. Then at the bar, when they in their ears, they're like, yo, what's up? My name is Bob. My name is Dylan. I'm from over here in Idaho. I just came to Brooklyn. I'm a website developer. By the way, do you know that black women don't treat you like shit and I'm here to save you? That's their skeeter. That's how they get in our women. And the women is running in droves to fuck with Peter and Paul and, the rest of the white boys. And you should see how they look at us when they walking by. Like it's supposed to mean something. But my thing is this. Once you go white, you're not right. You cannot come back. I'm not touching nothing that was fucking a white boy ever. Like, that is out of the question. You done tagged yourself. You are undesirable. I don't give a fuck who it is.
Wow. Okay, Red, you going in, bro? You going in?
Yeah, we had to cut him off before he sent us an invoice, Seiko.
Man. All right, look, man, we have 5 minutes left. We have 5 minutes left on the interview. Tell us a little bit about you and Blue Pill, because some of us are new to this new consciousness. I grew up with Arashango, Dr. Ben, Asa Hilliard.
The legend.
Yes,
the legend.
So, and now I'm hearing, Red Pill, Blue Pill, Young Pharaoh, Polite. Tell me how you guys came about in 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes.
Well, me and Blue and my brother KT the Arch Degree. That's one. I'll be right there. 1 minute. Give me I need I need that. We came about our stepfather's Dr. Sabi, right?
Oh.
So we were introduced. Yes, the master healer who made his transition last year. Salute to his spirit. He's one of the ancestors now, more powerful. So my mother, Mama Pill, was one of his apprentices in 1980. Brought us to St. Croix. We were exposed.
That's where I was born.
Yeah. All right then. Well, Frederickstead, Christianstead, yes.
Okay.
So
okay.
We're from the Thomas bloodline. Okay, the Thomas bloodline. Okay. Lloyd Thomas was a calypso singer, and that's my grandfather. So we were exposed, and we had Usha Institute, the Fig Tree with Dr. Sabi. You could ask about that, and people from St. Croix will tell you about. We was there in the 80s, in the early 80s, walking barefoot in the mountains and all of that. You know what I mean? That's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
So we were exposed to the consciousness. Later on, about 20 years later, early 2000, my brother Blue Pill was putting me on to the VHS, the movement of Phil Valentine, the Underground Consciousness, Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, Dr. Blair. They revived the lecture community after Dr. Ben and a few others. The academia, these were the academia, but Phil Valentine and them would be more like what you see now, the scholars who were not in the colleges, but they were doing the information and taking it levels deeper than what was being afforded by some of our academia.
Right.
And we basically were, you know, my master teacher, Dr. Phil Valentine, you know what I'm saying? And he basically opened up the way, you know what I mean? And I came to New York in 2003 and I began living it. I was always watching and listening and reading, but I began to live out consciousness. I began to live out the lifestyle, and I made it part of my mission, and I found out what my mission was in my journey, and we created Know the Ledge TV in '08. Then we created Know the Ledge Radio for Blog Talk Radio. And then what you see is the collaboration between me, my brother, and other people with other brothers' platforms or their brands. So there's a collaborative effort. That's why you'll see me on House of Consciousness, Dinetta TV, Black Magic 363, Baba TV, Forbes DVD, because now I've been collaborating with my brothers, but we're bringing back Know the Ledge TV back to YouTube this year, but we're going to focus on Mama Pill, KT the Arshagri, Red and Blue Pill, and all of my affiliates, because I'm affiliated with a lot of the different pantheon of the scholars. You could go to Google and research Know the Ledge Radio. We have about 700 shows with every single scholar in the game right now that you could think of. If they not on the show, then they not in the fucking game, bottom line. They a rogue agent. They just sideline, you know. But we here to build, you know what I mean? It's about health, wealth, knowledge, and self. That's one of our acronyms, HAWKS. Facts, food, art, clothing, and technology and shelter. We about unity. We don't do the back and forth wrestling, arguing. We not with the fuck shit. You know what I mean? We don't scream at computers. We don't yell at computers. You know, fuck. We pull up. You know what I'm saying? We get things done, and we ain't about creating problems. You know, we identified one of our main opponents or our adversaries or the antagonists, and that's ignorance, fuck niggas, and the Neanderthals that are trying to kill our people. You know what I mean? So that's what we focus on. But if people, you know, there's always agents, there's always provocateurs, there's always people who have jealous tendencies, because when you out here doing the work, it's reminding motherfuckers who are not doing the work what they're not doing. So you got to keep putting your motherfucking foot up their ass and make them work, because we're here to inspire, fam. We're here to inspire. I've been inspired by some great people. I can never walk in the shoes of Clark, Ben, Sabi. Those are the greats. They represent an era that unfortunately I don't even think we can match. But that takes nothing away from the task at hand. We are writing history as me, you, and all of the family are here right now. This is all history. It will all go down in history for our children and our children's children 100 years from now to talk about. So, you know, with that being said, we got a long fucking way to go. We got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work. Well, you're going to be in the Hampton Roads area this, the 29th of this month, January, 3110 Souls Point Road in Norfolk, Virginia. Your talk begins at 3 o'clock. You bring your brother Blue Pill with you. And, man, we really look forward to hearing more of this consciousness and this information that you have to share. Bert, you want to take us out of here?
Yes. Definitely want to thank you for your time, Pill. We look forward to hosting you in the 7 cities and having a great turnout. As always, when I close, Seiko, you know, everyone wants to be a part of a winning team, but they don't just want to be on the team. They want to know that they have contributed to the success of the team.
Right. Yes. And as I always say in closing, stay fly. Peace.
Peace.